Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare
And good evening, this is Bob
necessities. If
W6CJX, and I'll be your net control operator for tonight's Papa Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Before we get started, let's pause for any emergency or priority traffic. Hearing nothing but crickets, we'll continue with the net. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time with a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The PAPA system is an open membership supported system in the Southern California area with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're a visitor to the PAPA system tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com. That's PAPASYS.com and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll have 45 days of free access to the PAPA system. At the end of your one-time 45-day guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member, continue to use the PAPA system on a daily basis, and be part of the PAPA system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and monthly PAPA system nets regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the PAPA system, Great Outdoor Net. All right. Boy, that guy's going to work me out of a job. Eventually, the whole net will just be one big recording with you guys jumping in somewhere in between. This is Bob W6CJX. Hey, go Dodgers. I bet you heard that a few times today. Wow, what a game. What a series. Watched every game that we could. I don't know if we watched everyone, but anything that was allowed on regular TV and Sportsnet we got. And let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, happy daylight. Oh, no daylight savings time. This is standard time. We're on standard time. Oh, I was trying to think of something there. Hammer time. Standard time, hammer time. Okay, anyway, enough funny stuff. Before we get started, let's do our due diligence with the announcements. We got a lot going on. We've got a couple things coming up this week. Next week? Well, this week starts today. And let's see, we've got also a little bit of Fiesta coming and things like that. So pay attention if you'd like. There will be a test.
Here are the PAPA System weekly announcements for the week of November 3rd. The PAPA Inland Empire Breakfast. PAPA will be meeting in person on Saturday, November 8th, at 9 a.m. at the Mill Creek Cattle Company in Mentone, California. Everyone is welcome. Special breakfast presentation. PAPA's very own, Michael AF6FB, recently attended Pacificon and will be sharing the interesting things he learned. You are invited to come out and learn the latest about today's digital amateur radio. We will be offering ham license testing at 8 a.m. for technician, general, and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for the breakfast at 9 a.m. and for ham license testing at 8 a.m. The PAPA West Side Luncheon. PAPA will also be meeting in person on Saturday, November 8th, at 11 a.m., at the Sizzler in Culver City. Special luncheon presentation. PAPA member Rick Norton, WM6M, will be presenting on 50-plus years of amateur radio equipment. Join us as we take a walk down amateur radio history lane. You may just spot an old radio friend from the past. We will be offering ham license testing at 10 a.m. for technician, general, and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for the luncheon at 11 a.m. and for ham license testing at 10 a.m. PAPA Quick Start Program. At all of our test sessions, we have a quick start program for newly licensed technicians. We will help you understand how to communicate on the PAPA system with fellow ham radio operators. You will be able to get on the air as soon as your new FCC license arrives and receive a free pre-programmed VHF/UHF handheld radio at no cost to you. You are encouraged to join the new Hams Net Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. with Steve, KI6LOV, and connect with fellow amateur radio operators. More details are available at all of the PAPA test sessions and on the PAPA website. The USS Midway Museum radio team, NI6IW, will be on the air on Saturday, November 8th, from 0900 to 1600 Pacific Time. They will be commemorating Veterans Day and the Marines' 250th birthday. Please check the PAPA website for all modes and frequencies. The PAPA system will host 2 fiestas this year to close out 2025. The traditional Fiesta Norte, this year in the San Gabriel Valley, on December 14th, at Villa Katrina in Arcadia. Fiesta del Sur, in the San Diego area, on December 20th, at Cocina del Charro in San Marcos. You can purchase your Fiesta meal tickets on the Papa website for $36, which includes tax and tip. Please note, you will only be able to purchase the Fiesta door prize tickets at the Fiestas. See the Papa homepage for more information. And don't forget, as this end of year comes to a close, that the Papa system is a 501c3. Papa will use these donations for improvement of the system infrastructure. All donations, including door prize tickets and memberships, can be a tax deduction. All this information, and a whole lot more, can be found on the Papa website at papasys.com.
Alrighty, there you go. That's all that's coming up. Just a few things. I think next week we just have, well, not next week, but the next. If you only knew how many hours I've spent and listened to the announcements, it's not so bad just listening to it once per net, believe me. But I try to do the best job I can and make sure as much information we can get in less than 3 minutes, I suppose. Try to speed it up. It's kind of funny, actually. So, with that, this is the Great Outdoor Net for the Papa System here on Sunday evening at 8 p.m. And what else we can do this weekend? We just watched some football today. That was good. Regular fall type things. Took a walk at the park. I got to get that in. Got my 5,000 something steps in. So we're good there. Okay, well, before I divulge the topic for tonight, I think you'll like it. It's kind of interesting. It's been piquing my interest a little bit lately. But I'm going to call on Steve, our trail consultant, see what he has for our report this week. I think he was one of really actually can give him some props for doing the net in the midst of the great World Series. It was a great World Series, actually. And I just want to say, that's pretty amazing to be able to hold the net together and actually had a whole bunch of check-ins come in and had a great topic. So, Steve, if you're out there, KI6LOV, welcome.
Well, good evening, Bob, and everyone out here on the Great Outdoor Net. Yeah, this is Steve, KI6LOV, and I was not out at the cabin this weekend, but yesterday I took a really nice, couple of mile walk, and indeed I was going to comment about sitting in on the Saturday night roundtable last night with the Game 7 of the World Series on at the same time, and I combined net control with a little commentary here and there, and it was just a lot of fun. And anyway, I have a sneak peek into the subject for tonight's net, but I'm not going to reveal that right now. I'll wait for you, Bob. But everybody stand by. I'll be back at the cabin before too long. I actually have a social engagement next weekend as well, but I did have my neighbors up in the canyon check on my cabin today for me, so everything was good up there. KI6LOV, back to you, Bob, and I'll have a good story when it comes around to check-in time.
Well, thank you, Steve. Hopefully your neighbors were able to go over there and change your clock for you. You probably don't even have a clock in there. I probably wouldn't. Well, maybe I would. We'll find out if Steve has a clock in the cabin. And good that you have neighbors. Don't know how you would communicate with them unless they, I guess, go up and then come back and call you on the phone. So that's another interesting question. Let's see, what else have I got? Okay, well, as Steve kind of alluded to, we got an interesting topic tonight. Not too controversial. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's something that we've maybe all did or used here and there, and I think it's gaining some popularity. I'm looking into, well, I've already looked into and dove into part of it, mainly just for home security. Mainly, that's what I have it for. But let me play a little piece, and it might explain even a little bit more.
Less lethal weapons can be useful tools for personal safety in the great outdoors, both against human threats and potentially dangerous animals. However, their effectiveness is highly dependent on the environment, the specific threat, and the proper selection and use of the appropriate device. For self-defense against human assailants while hiking, camping, or backpacking, options like pepper spray and taser devices are common. Pepper spray, a popular and effective option. Pros: easy to carry, relatively inexpensive, and can be effective from a short distance. Cons: wind can cause blowback, affecting the user. Effectiveness is reduced in cold temperatures, which can slow the chemical dispersion. Against dangerous animals. Specific, less lethal options are designed for defense against wildlife, particularly large animals like bears and cougars. Bear spray. This is the most recommended less lethal option for animal encounters. It contains a higher concentration of active ingredient, capsaicin, and sprays in a wider fog pattern over a longer range than standard personal pepper spray, creating a barrier the animal must pass through. Sound deterrence. Air horns or whistles can effectively scare off many animals from a distance by creating a sudden, loud noise without causing harm. This is just a few examples of how less lethal protection could help you in the great outdoors.
All right, thank you for that. It's just a little bit of, like I said, some of us have used whistles and bells, and I know I used to carry some pepper spray, like, Big Five Special, whatever it would be, and just put that on my pack, just in case I ran into not so much people, but, a wild coyote that might be rabid or something. I don't know. As it comes across the trail. Doubt you can have a whole lot of time with a cougar or mountain lion, but yeah, you never know. I did see a video the other day I'd like to share later. Well, I can't share the video, but I can share what it was about. All right, W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. We'll take a few check-ins. Don't think I have anything else on my plate, and then we'll get started there. So, last week we did like what scares you in the great outdoors, and some of it's animals, some of it's people. I had a couple incidents too where I was a little leery about, I don't know what this is happening here. This may not turn out good. But it did, so I never know one. Let's see who's out there tonight. We'll take a few check-ins and get started. This is W6CJX for the Pop System. Great Outdoor Net. Welcome.
Kilo 6, Hotel November Golf.
Kilo India 6, Lima Oscar Victor.
Kilo Juliet 6, Golf Echo Uniform. Whiskey Tango 6 Tango.
Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Papa Quebec Hotel.
Okay, well, that's a great start. Nobody doubled or anything. Are you guys okay? What's going on out there? Jeez. Let's say hello to Adrian. Any kind of protection for the trail? Some of the stuff I know, like, I don't know, there's certain types of pepper spray and things you can't really take on the trail, or just to have, it'd just be nice to have something hanging. I had it hanging on my pack for many years, just, on the shoulder strap there where you got all those little attachment areas, and just had it hanging there just for, never know, right? Figured it'd be better to have it than not. Adrian, welcome, and let us know what you did this weekend too. That would be great.
Hey, good evening, Bob and everybody on the net. This is Adrian, KK6HNG. Oh, pepper spray, that little thing hanging on the backpack. No, I don't carry one of those. But nevertheless, I use and carry a real full-fledged big bear spray. Not necessarily on the backpack, but except if I know that I would be in a real dangerous area, which I will try to avoid. I'm not going to go in grizzly country for sure anytime soon by foot. But I have it for car camping, for example. I mean, first of all, I try to make sure nothing in the car would smell like food. That's one thing. Second, I would use, even in spite of some noise, slightly more crowded areas, because generally bears will stay away from those. And sure enough, I will have handy a real bear spray if I need to. I never had to use it yet, but hey, I know somebody who did not that long ago. KK6. Before that, where I was this week, I was on the path towards Mount San Antonio, but not all the way. I stopped at Pine Mountain. Basically, I've done all the routes, the standard route. Now I tried the route from Wrightwood just to see how it goes. Well, I started a little late, so I didn't go all the way, but that so-called North Backbone was pretty nice in spite of sunburned area there. Oh no, it doesn't compare in any way with Lake Silverwood, which I discovered a few weeks ago, and I also like it. But sure enough, that was a nice trip there. So thank you, Bob, for doing the net. KK6HNG.
Well, thank you, Adrian. I vote that we make the summer Papa picnic out at Silverwood. Sounds like a great place to go. I don't know if we can get everybody out there or not safely, but it sounds like a fun time. And yeah, the bear spray. I never have bought a bear spray. Of course, I've never really hiked a lot where there's been bears. We did up in Oregon, in Portland. They said that there was, black bears around, but we never saw any. And yeah, I know. We watched those great shows from Alaska. Some of them are kind of scary with those grizzly bears, All right. Well, thanks again. And let's say hello to Steve, KI6LOV, who's hopefully got something for us in that department. That would be great. Steve, take it away.
Well, thank you, Bob. And, well, I'll tell you what. When I am out hiking in Big Santa Anita Canyon, at one time I would carry my big bear spray, but it was always hanging on my backpack, so that really wouldn't have done me much good. Actually, on the trail, I've never needed it. Any of my bear encounters, they've just kind of been benign, and the bears just kind of went away. I do carry a regular people-type pepper spray on my person, kind of a medium-sized one. I think it's 2 ounces or something. But I always thought it was fascinating that it's unlawful to use a regular pepper spray on animals and a bear spray on people. I'm not sure why that is, but I find that interesting. But I do have a cabin story involving bear spray. All right, Adrian alluded to it, this incident, and I know some people have heard this, but Adrian oftentimes comes out to visit for a couple hours when I'm out at the cabin, and he was sitting by the front door, and I was inside the cabin, and then I heard a big ruckus at the rear door, and I ran over to see what it was, and it was kind of a small bear. By that I mean like only a couple 100 pounds, and it was just rattling the back door really loud, and then it jumped up, and it was going to smash through the window. And I grabbed my bear spray that I always keep by the back door, and I really hated to do it, but I threw open the back door and went out there and shook it up real good and just said right to it, I said, you brought this on yourself. And I sprayed it right in the face from about 6 feet away, and it really worked. And that bear took off running, and my adrenaline was running as well. So anyway, that's my bear spray story, Bob. KI6LOV.
Wow. I can't even imagine. I've heard the story, but kind of forgot some of the little details and was anticipating trying to anticipate what you were going to say. If you open the door, if the door was open, but it sounded like the door was closed, I know it was now, and that you swung it open and there's the bear about 6 feet away and you've got your pepper spray or your bear spray. It's just something, especially in bear country, that like you and Adrian are in quite often. I mean, it's just got to be one of those things you got to carry. It's not expensive. They're not cheap either, but It's just some kind of assurance, and it doesn't mean it's going to get everything at any time. You might have, gosh, a raccoon jump on your head. I mean, just something crazy. Some wild rabid animal that's going nuts that you just can't do anything about. But at least if you have that opportunity to do that, that's really great. Well, thank you, Steve. Couldn't ask for a better one than that. That one's actually perfect. Let's say hello to Bob, KJ6GEU. I think he's still on his way home. Welcome, Bob.
Yeah, Bob, how you doing? I'm almost home. Not quite. Yeah. KJ6GEU, Mobile Papa 1. Bears. Actually, yeah, we do a lot of hiking up in Mammoth. As a matter of fact, last week we were up there and got some great hiking in around Lake George, Lake Barrett. Also on Convict Lake. It was really beautiful with the fall colors, and they had just had some snow up there, so it really made the hike more interesting. We don't carry bear spray. We probably should, because that's definitely bear country. But the funny thing is, I've had a place up in Mammoth for 15, 16 years. I've never actually seen a bear in town. The only time I've seen a bear at Mammoth was when I was riding up the chairlift on Chair 15 while I was skiing. That was really funny because it was a cub, and he ran up a hill right next to the chairlift. So that's the only bear I ever saw. But I do have a bear story. So about 7, 8 years ago, some friends of mine and I actually took a motorcycle ride up to my cabin up there, my condo. And first night up, we decided we wanted to get some pizza. So we rode over to Nick and Willie's, grabbed a pizza, and we threw it in the tour pack of one of my friend's bikes. Got back to the condo. Pizza was maybe in the back of his bike for like no more than 5 minutes. This was about 8:30 at night. We enjoyed the pizza, had a great night. About 12 o'clock, we hear one of the alarms on the bikes going off. We all woke up, went outside, didn't see anything. Got up in the morning, and my friend's bike seat was all chewed up, and there were scratches all over the tour pack. Apparently a bear was able to smell the pizza, even though it was 3 hours prior that it was there, and tried to get into it. So that's my only bear story. As far as the World Series, I was born in Toronto, so I was pulling for the Blue Jays, but I have to admit that was the most fantastic series ever. Especially those last two games, matter of inches or seconds, half a second might have changed the whole picture. So it was a fantastic series. No matter who won, it was great. Anyway, back to Net Control. Thanks for letting me talk so long. We'll catch you next time, Bob. KJ6GEU, back to Net Control.
Well, thank you, Bob. No, that's what this net's for. I get to take a nap in between. I'm just kidding. Well, I do, stretch back in my chair sometimes and stretch my back while you guys talk. So all the more talking, the better. So don't ever worry about that. I kind of came to a decision during this series too, and we'll go back to the game. We'll try not to make that the topic for tonight, even though we can all comment on it if we want. Is that, being the Dodgers were in the World Series for the second time, and the Blue Jays hadn't been in for quite a while. I was like, okay, if they don't win, Dodgers don't win, the Blue Jays do, they're still that second best team, at least now. They're both unequal, I guess, before. And so, hats off to Toronto and the Blue Jays. They put in a great effort. Like you said, that's a seventh game that'll go down in history. So, yeah, the thing with that just scares me about the bear thing. You hear people's, their cars get all, pulling apart, and you see videos of, you don't ever know if it's AI now or if it's a real thing, and the bear comes up and just takes this door off the side of a car, and then they have toothpaste or something inside it. Just the littlest thing, and especially if you have kids. Kids are going to drop French fries and things in the car. Oh boy, I don't know. Sounds kind of scary. I think I'll stick to the coast. W6CJX for the Papa System. Great outdoor net. Thank you, Bob. It's always great to hear you, and glad that you're able to get in on your way home. With that, let's go see Brian if he's out there. Whiskey Tango, 6 Tango. I always like that.
Thank you, Bob. Brian in Glendale, Whiskey Tango, 6 Tango.
My outdoor adventures this weekend were on my roof hugging my chimney, so not much going on there. But here in Glendale, especially in the Verdugos, we've had bear sightings. There's a bear wandering around in the lower Verdugos this weekend, so maybe bear spray is in my future here. I don't know. There was a bear sighting down at the 134 a couple of weeks ago in the early morning. That's about it. Thanks for doing the net. Whiskey Tango 6 Tango.
It's like the bare necessities. I know. I just had to. It's turning into a bear net. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Brian. You darn chimney hugger, you. Boy, those people just drive me crazy. You see these people, you're driving around, they're up there hugging their chimney. I don't know what's gotten into the world. Well, I'm glad you had a good weekend and leave that chimney alone. It's got a purpose. Wait till someone builds a big fire in it, then you're going to be in real trouble. I'm just giving you some. Thank you so much for doing the Thursday Night Technical Roundtable, week after week after week after week. And of course, Steve does the great New Hams Net. We got a few net controllers here tonight. Thank you, Brian. Let's say hello to Jeff, another fellow net controller. This is net controller night. AB6MB, who did just recently the antenna net. Go ahead, Jeff. Welcome.
Okay, Bob. Thank you very much for doing the net. I don't have any bear stories or anything like that. Whenever I went hiking, I never carried any bear spray or anything like that. And this is up in the Seattle, Washington area. Don't seem to really have a problem with bears up there. Could be famous last words, but I just never, a lot of friends that hike, and nobody ever reported anything about bears or the, two-legged version of somebody is going to cause problems. But, I probably would carry, I got a little bit of a, personal spray next to my door here at the apartment. But, I don't know, it's just mixed feelings about it. So I guess, better just carry just for the heck of it. You never know. The one time you need it, you're going to need it. So if you can do a lot of hiking or, I don't know, it's one of those things. I guess you like to think you go in the great outdoors and be really nice and safe and everything, but, you never know. So I guess that I would need to be carrying bear spray with me at the minimum. And I'd definitely take down a human. So anyway, want to support the net too. Thank you again. Always great net to look forward to every week. So back to you, Bob. AB6MB.
Oh boy. Now I got to find another vase for all these flowers. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. And appreciate you, like I said. That's good to have some. It's not just the wild anymore. I mean, our society's turned into the wild, and you just never know. I mean, I listen to probably the police scanner out here too much, or police frequency. It's actually on my ham radio, but there's some scary stuff that's going on all over everywhere. Not just in L.A. It's up here in Ventura and Camarillo, Oxnard, all those areas. So got to be, aware of your surroundings, and maybe I guess it wouldn't hurt to carry a little something in your, in your purse or your MERS. Or your EDC bag. That's what I have. W6CJX for the Papa System. Great Outdoor Net. And last but not least on my list is a gentleman from, okay, wait for it. I have a drum roll, but I can't get to it now. The drum set's too far away. Locust Grove, Virginia. How did I do, Ron?
This is KF4PQH. Got it good there tonight, Bob. Locust Grove, Virginia. That's where I am. And actually last week, and I didn't get on last week, I was at a wedding, and I was in a place called Saugerties, New York, which is about 10 minutes from Woodstock, New York, which is where Woodstock really wasn't held, because the town heard what was going on, and they decided, don't think we'll let you do that. So it was held at a farm about 20 miles away. But bear spray, I actually still have a can of bear spray sitting in there's like a little pouch on the door of my car that you can put a bottle of water in, and I got a bear spray that I put in there several years ago, and I've actually changed them out. So I've kept that in there for whatever reason. I don't know. Be prepared. Call it the Boy Scout in me. And luckily, I've never gotten into a situation where I need to be concerned about bears or bear spray. The couple that I have seen have been from a distance, and I was driving at 30 or 40 miles an hour in the RV on our way to Alaska. One suggestion is whatever your form of protection that you feel that you want to carry, use. Some people have concealed carry permits. The one I have allows me to carry in 38 states if I choose to do that. Is whatever you're carrying, it's always a good idea to practice. Don't let when you need it be the first time you use it. And you can actually buy practice containers of bear spray, so it gives you a chance to try that. And of course, make sure you've got the right mindset to do what you're going to do or need to do. Don't, if you don't think you can use it, it's probably not the right thing to bring with you. But I do know, I read somewhere, they said when you're in bear country and you look around, you see a pile of stuff there. And if it smells like pepper and has little bells in it, there's probably bears somewhere in the area. So this is KF4 PQH, back to net control. Stay safe, 7-3 to everybody from Locust Grove, Virginia.
So you're trying to tell me if it smells like pepper and has bells in it, sounds like someone ate a hiker and put some pepper on it to make it taste better, taste him or her better. That kind of brings me to a point. I think you were kind of almost touching on it, where I was going, and this is great. This is really where I wanted to go because it's more outdoor. And the guy that I brought on, my special guest person there, he didn't really mention the stuff, but some of these less lethal weapons now, I'm kind of looking into those a little bit. I mean, I do have one already. Basically, it's just a paintball gun on steroids. I did try mine out today the first time. Like you said, if you don't use it before you need it, it's you don't know what to expect. That thing is very powerful. It shoots a 61, or maybe it's a .61 caliber ball, hard piece of plastic, so it doesn't explode. You can recover them and reuse them. And then they do have pepper balls that will explode and all different. It goes even worse than that, some kind of tear gas, I think. And they, they're kind of interesting. So it's a CO2 cartridge this is made by Byrna, which is kind of one of the main ones today. So I was about 40 feet away from the target. And basically the target was something I drew on a big piece of cardboard. So it was, let's say, a cardboard box thick on the outside. And then I kind of opened it all up. So it was kind of like shooting at a big cardboard box, nothing inside. So the first two shots that I made, and it does have kind of a cool sound. It's not quite, an air pistol or a BB gun sound. It's got a little bit of punch, you can tell. And that ball went through one side of the box and came out the other, and I can't find those two balls that went through there. So after that, I thought, well, let me close this up a little bit and put some foam in between, because I really don't want to lose too many of these little orange balls. And I was able to capture those, but that's got some punch. So even 40 feet away, I think that would hurt somebody a little bit. So, but you still got to be careful. I think California's got some weird laws that you might get in trouble by like concealed carry without a permit, even though it is a less lethal and it's not considered a firearm. So throwing that out there for discussion or just comments, but I'm not planning on really. I might take it hiking if I was going hiking, put it in my backpack, but not where I could just reach it probably. And just to have, because I saw a video the other day on YouTube, and it was this mountain lion that was trying to attack this guy hiking on this road. It was a fire road. And this thing was amazing. I wish if I could find it again. I'm sure it's in my library or history of YouTube. It was just really scary. This thing was coming at him, and it kept doing this thing with its paws and scamping along. Wow. And he goes, man, I wish I had brought my gun, because he was fearing for his life. And then I was thinking too, that what if he had something less lethal and just send a shot over to this lion that's trying to chase him down, or pepper spray or bear spray, because man, he was ready to take him on. So that was crazy. All right, that's enough of me. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Let's take some more check-ins. Anyone out there that'd like to discuss anything on the topic and or anything you want to talk about, or just come in and say hello. We're welcome to everything.
Kilo Delta 6, Lima, Lima, Bravo,
Papa
Logan.
Zulu. Andy?
Kilo 6, Hotel November Golf. Recheck.
November 6 Alpha, Quebec, Dale.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Yankee Zulu. This is Victor.
K6 Bravo Kilo Papa.
All right. Looks like a good round to me. Let's see, who did we pick up? We got Logan. We got Andy. We got Adrian for a recheck. We've got Dale. We got Victor. And without the top of my head, I can't think of his name. Sorry. K6BKP, but I got you. I'll figure that out before I come back to you. Logan, what you got for us tonight? And welcome.
Good evening, Bob and everybody on the net. This is Logan, KD6LLB, coming in on All-Star. And yeah, I've never carried bear spray or pepper spray or anything. Although now that I think about it, there have certainly been some times where bears made me nervous. Or the possibility of bears made me nervous. Sometimes, you're sleeping in a tent and I'd wake up and think, I thought I heard a bear. Anyway, it'd be nice in those cases to have bear spray. The funniest situation was I went up to Kennedy Meadows like at the end of September on a weekday, and the campground was pretty much empty. There were a few cars. There were almost certainly people in the backcountry, backpackers, and but I don't think there was anybody else in the car camping area. And I was making some breakfast, and this bear just came sort of strolling my direction, and I ended up sort of panicking and putting everything in the back of the truck and getting out of there. It's just didn't want to be the only person in the campground with a bear. Evidently the bears had lots to pick from, and now I was the only game in town. So, yeah, it would have been nice to have bear spray. I probably would have felt comfortable staying put. So one other quick story about, I guess it's tear gas. So when I was, I don't know, very young, maybe 3 or 4, I could only guess, some family friends came over. We used to have pretty regular gatherings for dinner. And my friend Alicia and I were we'd arranged the tablecloth so that we had a fort. And all these grown-ups were preparing the meal, and we were playing like we were in a fort under the table. And either she or I don't know, one of us had this gadget we had found somewhere in the house. And we played with it and tried to figure out this mechanism, and then it basically went off. It popped, and we tear gassed ourselves. And I mean, it's funny because it wasn't actually that bad. I talked to my mom about it later, and she said that whoever it was said that it was probably a dud or expired, but yeah. So I had an early experience tear gassing myself. Anyway, I'm not sure what I accomplished by that, but I'm sure it helped somehow. KD6LLB, back to net.
Well, I'd hope that would help that you wouldn't try to do it again, or hopefully it doesn't happen again. I guess it's kind of like, peeing in the wind. Be kind of crude, I guess, but yeah, that's one of those things you don't want to do either. But not that you had wind, but it is a possibility of, that stuff floating back towards you. I know with this Byrna launcher type gun with the pepper balls that are in this thing, they recommend instead of hitting someone with it, what they will explode, but they hit your target. Let's say a person's in the door frame and they're just wielding a knife at you or something that this is not going to go well. Try to hit the door frame or somewhere around there, because that powder will splatter better and all go into his or her sinuses or something. Well, yeah, I haven't been pepper sprayed either, but I'm sure it is not a lot of fun. I've seen police officers get it, and probably some fire departments, or they've been in an area where there's a lot of that stuff flying around. So that just cannot be a lot of fun. And appreciate you and all that you do too. Great job on the net tonight. Let's say hello to Andy. I don't have the front part of your call for some reason. Kilo Papa Zulu. Welcome.
Hi, Bob. It's Kilo Oscar 6, Kilo Papa Zulu. I, too, have a Byrna I just recently acquired. And one of the bummer things is, looking at the laws and all that, it seems as though the pepper spray pellets you can load into them, they're illegal to even own in California. That's kind of a weird law, but it is what it is. But you're right, the oomph is there. And I actually bought a target from Byrna. It's a stand-up one. It's got little different spots you can hit on a simulated body. Has different point values. It's actually pretty cool to use. It's actually a good way to get your accuracy down, recover your balls. And also, they make the green ones, which actually are green. If you use them out in nature, they get wet, they'll dissolve, so that's a good biodegradable thing. But yeah, it's a good oomph thing. So, anyways, enjoy that new lesson, Lethal. I'm enjoying mine. Anyways, Andy, back to net. KO6, QPZ.
Well, thank you, Andy. Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm learning, taking it slow with mine. I got the CL, so it's a smaller, compact launcher. And some of the other ones, now you can get them in black, you can get them in orange, I think you can get them in tan or coyote. I opted for the black just because a couple of I know, I'm not going to pull it out in front of a police officer, believe me. It's probably not even going to go out in the front yard. But being inside the house is another story. But they were saying, if you were to confront a intruder, let's say, probably in the dark too, but whatever the situation might be, and he sees, or she, everybody equal opportunity, he or she sees that you have an orange colored gun, they may think it's just a pellet gun or something like that, which it kind of is, but it's got a little more umph to it. And that is interesting. You can't even buy the pepper balls for the Byrna, or any that's in California. They won't send it to you. I even tried calling one of the local gun shops, and he says, "Oh, we carry all the Byrna products." And I said, "Do you have the pepper?" Or there's one that's like Total Defense. I don't know. It's got a little bit of everything in it. You just just don't want to get hit by something like that. And they said, "No, we don't carry it. We don't carry them here." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I'm gonna have to go to my brother-in-law's house in Utah and pick one up. W6CJX for the Papa System, Great Outdoor Net. Well, good. And like I said, now Carolyn wants to shoot it, which is encouraging. And that's one of the things, if you watch 250 YouTube videos on certain subjects, a lot of the people said, well, my wife is afraid of guns. She doesn't like them in the house. She doesn't want to ever try and shoot one. And Carolyn shot a lot of guns in her time, shotguns, pistols, all kinds of good stuff. But she even said, I'd like to try that because it is kind of fun. So I'll have to get her involved. Okay, with that, thank you so much, Andy. And let's see, let's go back to Adrian for a recheck. I know he's a recheck, but that's okay. You're not a reject, you're just a recheck. Go ahead, Adrian. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Bob. This is Adrian KK6HNG. Interesting, you mentioned cougars in this thing and that YouTube, which to me doesn't look exactly right. And it doesn't because typically cougars attack from behind, they stalk you. They are known to attack fast-moving targets like cyclists and runners on trail. And even that is relatively rare, but it may happen. So my point being that you may have a bear spray, but if you think you're going to use it for a cougar, it may be too late. It's better. The good part is that the vast majority of cougars are afraid of humans, and they would see you, and even when you don't see them, and they'll run away. I mean, I asked a lot of people that spent most of their lives in in wild areas, and they told me that no, they never saw one, or they only saw one in a distance. So that's that. As for the funny laws in California, I don't know. I don't think I would have a problem shooting a bear spray at a person if I have to. Even I hope I'll never have to, and pull a knife after that. But the reality is that I feel more safe on a trail somewhere than in the middle of a city at night, or on the trail at night for that reason. So isn't that something? K6HNG, back to net.
Hey, you get the bell tonight. I was kind of looking for someone to say that. This is exactly what you just said. As far as saying it's, I feel safer in the great outdoors, or in the woods or the forest, than I do in society, and that I guess is pretty true. This video that I saw, and I'll send it to you once I find it. I'll just share it with you. I don't have to send you the whole video. You can go look for it. But I was kind of leery too when you watch this thing, but it just scared. It's scary to see this cougar or mountain lion coming after this guy, and he's going, no, no, no. And the thing just started, its ears were going back. It was scary. I don't even know where it was located at. And I was thinking, I think I'm glad I have this a less lethal weapon. If I had that, I think I would have shot at it at least and got its attention or some darn thing. Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, that's good points. And very, very good. Yeah, well, definitely the main point there is most mountain lions you'll never see, but they'll see you first. And yeah, and you might see them from a distance, but if you see one, it's probably too late. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Let's say hello to Dale in 6AQQ. Welcome, Dale.
Good evening. This is Dale in 6AQQ. It's 58 degrees, I guess. I'm looking at the thing. I'm looking at it. That was 64 degrees. I don't know what I did. Anyway, 64 degrees of dust. Don't really have any bear stories. Ran into a bear once when I was at a four-wheel drive, but I was inside the vehicle, so I didn't have any problems. The bear ran off. And as far as carrying pepper spray and stuff, I don't. I probably should, but I don't. Anyway, back to the N6AQQ. Thanks for doing it.
Well, so now we're up to what, 4 or 5? I probably should, but I don't. I don't carry stuff like that everywhere, but I probably should, and I don't. It's just like, I have something in your pocket, or I don't know, a fanny pack or something, just as I guess it depends on where you're going, and of course where you live, but then also what kind of environment you're going to be in, and maybe the time of day it could be in. If you're going to be out late, it might be kind of nice to have a little something just in case, but yeah, you never know. Well, thanks, Dale. It sounds like it's getting cooler out there. As we go through the temperatures, I usually record them every time. Well, I do, and record them on my list here next to your name, and so we can see a drop in temperature. All right, and let's say hello to Victor. Is it W2AYZ? I think it is. Boy, I always get that confused. I got it right, I think. Victor, welcome.
Hey, good evening, Bob and Annette, W2AYZ. I somehow was not able to come in earlier. Maybe it's just the knob on my elevator is not functioning well just now. Just want to mention, so I have not really encountered of any bear, but I do carry some bear sprays for hiking with the troops out in the mountain area or the bear countries, but I have to say that not only bears, some other small animals can also have the same ability to detect food in your backpack or tent or anything. And a couple years ago, we were camping near Shiver Lake, Camp Chiwanaki. There they will have a local animal they call Chihuahua bear. Basically, so small animals that can smell you the food, and my backpack was chewed through by them, and they got to the nuts inside the backpack that I didn't even remember it was there. So if you want to bring food to the wilderness, do care for small animals other than maybe also bears as well. Back to net W2AYZ.
Well, and also, like you were saying, there are the other animals out there that that's why I carried like a little, it was just a pepper spray from, I think, Big Five. I got it at. It wasn't the cheapest one, but it wasn't the the granddaddy one or bear spray. It's just something small, and I just carried it. Never used it. I always hoped that it would work when I needed it. That's the other kind of weird thing is when do you test it, and when should you test it once in a while? I mean, but then if you use it, you won't have any left in there. So it's one of those kind of weird things. But definitely, yeah, with the troops, all you need is something, just a hungry bear come in. That's all they want. Some of your mountain house or whatever you guys are cooking up, and some noodles or something. They'd be just happy as can be. But yeah, just in case, especially with the good company of having some scouts with you. Thank you, Victor, for always being a regular. You got a ribbon there tonight for coming in and putting that extra effort in to get into the net. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Let's say hello to Brian, Kilo 6, Bravo Kilo Papa. Welcome, Brian.
Hello, Bob and the net. Well, I don't get out into the wilderness, but one of my friends, her boyfriend has a problem with bears, and his apartment up in San Dimas. So what I did there is that I got these 2 grenades and I lent it to her so that she can try them out on the bears and see if it'll scare them off. They're not. Oh, they're both civilian grade grenades. They just make noise. No, they don't. No fragmentation out of them. So. One's CO2 powered, the other one uses 12-gauge blanks, and that's what I lent her, but her boyfriend was too afraid to use them. He was afraid that it would be too loud for the bears. Back to the net control.
Well, there is that noise protection bill out there for bears. We can't go above any certain decibels, or we might injure their hearing, and then they wouldn't be able to forage for food and be alert enough for any who's going to attack a bear, maybe a mountain lion, I guess, or a person. That's interesting. Well, when you said grenades, I really had to take a double. I came back and I went, whoa, that's some serious bear deterrent. But then so they're kind of the flashbangs, I guess, something maybe close to what the I don't know what they are. It sounds like the flashbangs that some of the police use in public service, public safeties out there, maybe something like that. Okay, good. Well, that's a good story. And knowing someone that's got a problem with bears, I mean, it is more common than you think. We're being down here in Southern Cal, and they're always coming through over in the mountains there, San Gabriel area and Altadena and all those different places. They're always on the news. All right, this is Bob W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. We're here every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. tonight. We're talking less lethal weapons. Could be anything from pepper spray, bear spray, to, I don't know, these rocket launchers. No, they're just big ball launchers. But if you would see this thing, you'd be pretty amazed. They also make, and I don't know if it's the same company, but they make a shotgun shell. It's not made for, where you can load 5 or 6 rounds in a shotgun. It's just one at a time, which is what I have. And it sends out a projectile. I don't know how they propel it, because it would have to be some kind of CO2 or something. I have to look into that. They don't seem to be very expensive, but there's no major blowback like a shotgun would normally give you. And it's, same type of thing, less lethal, that it would just really hurt a lot. Some of these guys that have people shoot them on YouTube, it's just like, wow, why would you do that? I guess to make a point and make sure it works. Let's see who else is out there. We still got some more time tonight, and it's only 59 minutes. Yeah, before what? Am I on the right time? 9 o'clock. Yeah, I changed my clocks. Changed themselves, so I'm very good clocks. Thank you. Let's see who else is out there tonight. Please come now.
Kilo Oscar 6 Delta Golf X-Ray.
All right, we got Rick. Hey, Rick. Let's see. You worked up in Yosemite, I think you said at one time. So you probably saw some bears when we went to Yosemite last year. Here was in the October timeframe of last year. We didn't see any bears either. We saw a lot of signs referring to bears, but never actually saw any bears. So anything you got for us tonight? We would love to hear. Go ahead, Rick, and welcome.
Hey, Bob. Thank you so much, and to everyone on the net. I'll try to be very concise, but yeah, back when I was 17, I had a gig working for the national park, Yosemite National Park in Tuolumne Meadows. That's kind of like what fired me up to be a rock climber. But back in the day, dude, we were the Park Service like put us up because it was a summer job. So they put us up in the group campground that was on the outside of Tuolumne Meadows. So, dude, every night it was like commuters. It was like commuter hour. So at dusk, before dark, all these bears would be coming through because we were on the very edge of the campgrounds. It was a huge campground up in the high country in Tuolumne Meadows. And so these bears would come just strolling through. They would even look at us. They didn't care about our campsite. They were going down to where the goods were. And so that was a nightly episode with them. And then, booting over to, remember, on after the fire, I saw that same bear by the tunnel on the highway 101. You know the bear I'm talking about. There was also a mountain lion on the other side, but the bear as well after the fire. They were roadkill after that fire. So then I heard people talking about cougars, and dude, this is one thing you do. They come from behind, but don't change your bicycle tire out on the trail, or guard your girlfriend's back if she needs to, pee on the trail or something like that. Do not scrunch down. Because mountain lions will totally attack when you bend over and scrunch down. So if you're trying to change the tire on your bicycle on a mountain bike trail, that's a time to have your friend watch your back. And then, mountain lions, man, when, on the west end, the Santa Ynez Valley, where I lived in Drum Canyon, there were mountain lions. There was like a whole community of them. So they were frequent, especially it would be really cool after the rainstorms. Then you could go out and look at where all the deep ponds were, and you can see the mountain lion tracks. I made some plaster castings out of them. But so I've observed a lot of them. I've watched them chasing deer. I've watched mountain lions get chased by a couple of coyotes, and then turn around and chase the coyotes, and that was pretty crazy. And then I've seen a baby, not babies, about the size of a full-grown chow chow, mountain lion cubs, and so those dudes can do some damage. But thanks a lot for the opportunity to share this one. Cool one, as always.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. That's perfect. Yeah, you've actually had some, witnessing bears do the bear march. We've done the bear necessity as they're walking by with a little band. People are playing. Anyway, I get lost in the outdoors sometimes. I've really never seen a bear. I saw a bear that was demised on the side of the road going up through Gaviota one morning on my many thousands of trips up and down the coast. And I just saw the back of his paw and part of his fur, so I knew it was black, and the paw was pretty huge. But it looks like he got hit right after the tunnel as you're going north on the 101 and he was off to the side. And I also saw a mountain lion in the same spot. And they must be one of their trails that they go through, or come down off the mountain or something. But it's sad. And then, the other thing I used to see all the time was birds of prey. A lot of times there were hawks, not eagles, hawks and owls. And I guess they'd come down kind of for the free meal or something of some roadkill possibly, and just can't get lifted off fast enough, and probably a truck or something hits them. So that's always kind of sad. Well, that sounds like fun. I don't think that's, a lot of people still go camping and cohees with bears. It's kind of the thing to do, I suppose. If you know what you're doing, it's okay. And definitely don't, panic or whatever. And you were mentioning about, crouching down. Yeah, all that kind of good stuff is definitely something we want to look out for. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Rick. Let's see who else is out there tonight. We're talking a little bit of bear sightings and stories, and anything less lethal, anything like pepper spray, bear spray, or some of these ball launchers that it actually looks just like a Glock, I think, this one that I bought. And so I definitely don't want to walk out front with it and pull it out, because it's not equal to anyone else's 9mm or something. It's not going to work. So if I go to a shootout, it's not going to, I'll probably be the one losing. All right, let's see who else is out there. W6C Jack, net control. Alrighty. Well, let's see. We've, what else we got going on this week? Well, we got tomorrow. Next week we do have the multi-mode is coming back. First Wednesday of the month. So please remind me to be net control and do it. Not that I didn't do it last month, but that's a fun net. So those of you that have never been on that net, or if you've never even listened to it, it's kind of crazy. It's fun and crazy fun. It's all for fun. And it's kind of like a little bit of a contest, which is fun. We just try to see who can get the most modes, and kind of shows off what the Papa system can do. So, and tomorrow night we have the DMR net. Tuesday we got the P25 at 7, and we've got the D-Star net. I think I'm doing that one too at 8 p.m. And Wednesday, New Hams. We've got Thursday night is Technical Roundtable. Friday we got the Antenna net. Saturday we've got the Saturday Night Roundtable. And Sunday night, you're back here with me or someone. Well, get somebody in here wants to have some fun as net control, and has a topic that they'd like to share and talk with people. So that's what's the fun. It's a very fun thing to do. All right, I'll throw out one last call, and we'll see if we get anyone else. And if not, we'll shut down the net for tonight or this week, and had a good one. Let's see who else is out there. Please come now.
Well, good evening there, Bob. W6ALB, Andrew, Tucson, Arizona, coming through on All-Star.
KF4 PQH, brief recheck.
Okay. I hit the unmute button this time, and at the right time. Of course, you can't hear what I'm saying because it's not transmitting until I unmute myself. I need someone to help me. I need an assistant here. Okay. Let's say hello to Andrew. Hello, Andrew. What's going on out there in Tucson? W6ALB, and we have Ron as a PQH as a recheck. All right, let's say hello to Andrew. What's going on out there? Did you get your 51 fixed? That sure looked like it was going to be nice to have that working. Go ahead, Andrew, and welcome.
Yeah, I'm good there, Bob. W6. Hang on there. Hang on. Maybe I just stepped on the repeater over there. Anyways, W6LB over here in Tucson. Yeah, Bob. Parts don't come in until next Tuesday. Take forever. Parts gigs. So we'll talk about that on the D-Star net. Anyways, great that you're out here running the outdoor net, and I want to contribute out there. Halloween night over here, I had no trick-or-treaters, but I did, however, I counted like maybe 8 or 9 of them, and I found the 10th one. Javelinas came over to the front of the house, and they took my pumpkin apart, and I'm talking about 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, maybe 2:30 in the morning, somewhere in that bracket out there. I was in the backyard barbecuing, and I come up and I hear this noise. I'm talking about like 8 or 9 of them, big hunking guys out there, and they're just having a fiesta over my pumpkins out in the front of the house. It was kind of cool, actually. So I took a video. It kind of, it surprised me. They're big, but you know what? They didn't bother me. I walked up there and they let me film them. I got an hour long of video footage on there, but I have to edit it there because some kind of language in there. But I've never seen that many javelinas all at once just fighting over one pumpkin on the front over there. Great night for me. That made my Halloween over here. All right, Bob. Thanks for letting me check in out there, and thanks for running that out there. And I'm looking for more on your updates as well, as far as the talk to you later. W6ALB. I'm sorry, Bob.
Oh no, you're good. I was just trying to find out what the heck a javelina is. That comes from Lake Havasu, javelina. Can you? Well, I didn't have a time to Google it. I was hoping you were going to keep talking. Is it a javelina? I'm sure I'll probably know. Is it? I don't even know what to say. Let you tell me.
Okay, yeah. Well, I have to go back and delete the video and re-upload it. It took 4 hours for the thing to upload off my cell phone over to Google YouTube account there. Javelina, it's a wild boar, but it's not really a boar type thing. But some of them have tusks, and they're big. They're pretty damn big. But if you corner them, okay, someone is really trying to get me here. Anyways, hang on. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to re-upload the video, Mike. Excuse me. God, we got people talking here at once over here. The problem is I had a couple language in there when I was recording it, so I have to pull it down and edit it, get the language out. It scared me. I had like 8 of them, and then I counted like 10 of them, and they were cornering around me, and so I had to get my foot out there and tell them get back. They're friendly, but they're big. They're very big. Anyways, Bob, I appreciate you out there, and if you could send me a link to that Byrna thing out there, that'd be kind of great. That's a long. I don't have to use the 22 or 48 or 12 gauge out here if I don't have to. All right, W6ALB.
There we go. It's javelina with a J. I found that out. And they do. They're like pigs, wild boar. Those are cool. I actually like them. There's one here it shows with its piglets. I don't know what they would call them. It's babies. They're actually kind of cute. You said they weren't really too dangerous, I guess. They were just... Well, then that makes more sense, because when you first said something, and I thought, is he talking about a bear that came up and did this? I first thought it was actually young kids. I was listening, but I wasn't clicking. And then when you said they were javelinas, and I'm like, what in the hell is a javelina? But now I found out. You gave me time. Google came up with a beautiful thing here. It says actually a type of, not wild pigs, but they're a type of peccary, whatever the heck that is, and found in the Sonoran Desert. A peccary with a hoofed mammal that looks similar to a pig, but is not closely related. Wow. Okay, we learned something tonight. Thank you. Very, very good. That was super duper. Well, thank you, Andrew. We'll hear you tomorrow night on D-Star. Or not tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I'm off tomorrow night. Isn't that wonderful? I get to spend some time with my lovely wife. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do something. I'll find my crickets. Where's the crickets? They got to be over here somewhere. And thank you so much for everybody checking in tonight. That was a good, very good net. I enjoyed that. Kind of simple, easy. Got through it and tried not to talk as much. But it didn't work. It's okay. I'm in therapy, and then eventually she says it'll help. I want to thank Cecil with his legendary leadership. Of course, the Mountaintop guys. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Darren, and anyone else that goes up there that we don't know about. And of course, Ira. Thank you, Ira, for all you do out there, and everybody on our team of people that we have here on the Papa system. And let's see, and of course, the net controllers. We wouldn't have a net, or at least a semi-organized net. Might be a lot of fun just let people do their own. This is a self-service net. Just come on in and have fun without our net controller. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the net at 21:17. Give myself a little time back since we've changed our time and our clocks and stuff. So it's really later than it seems, or earlier than it seems. I don't know. I still haven't figured that one out. 7-3, everybody, and we'll talk soon, like next week.